about reactions. So as I talked about before, a chemical reaction basically is shown as a chemical equation where we use names and we use symbols. I think I may have even used this slide before. On the left side of the equation, we are going to have the reactants, also known as substrate. So we are going to be using the word substrate later today. So I want to introduce that word. A reactant is the same thing as a substrate. And then we are going to have the arrow, and whatever's on the left side is either going to be combined or be broken down to form what is on the right, which is making the products. So when we look at classes of chemical reactions, we can look at changes in their structure. So the first class, the first of 3 classes of reactions are what we call synthesis reactions. So synthesis, we are making something bigger. So these are our anabolic reactions, where we're going to take 2 or more atoms or ions or molecules and combine them to make something bigger. And they are just like this example down here, where we're taking molecule A and adding it to molecule B to make the product AB. And this is what happens in all the reactions that are dehydration synthesis, same word. The second type is known as a decomposition. So if we think of decomposition, we're usually thinking, the leaves breaking down in the woods. So it's breaking down stuff. So these are our catabolic reactions, where we have something bigger and we're cutting it into 2 or more smaller pieces. And in this example, we would start with AB as the reactant, and the products here would be A and B. And if you look at the little circles, we're starting with sodium chloride and breaking it down into a chloride atom and a sodium atom. And these catabolic reactions are going to fall into the category of the hydrolytic reactions we talked about before, where this is going to require an input of water as well as energy for this to happen. All right, the third type are what are called exchange reactions, also known as displacement reactions. And here what's happening is we are exchanging substances. So for instance, we could start with molecule AB and then a second molecule C, and basically we would switch the B with the C, so we would end up with HC and B. An example of this is when we form ATP, where we'll have an ADP and then we'll add in an inorganic phosphate, and then we can add that phosphate to the 2 other phosphates and end up with ATP. There's a couple examples I'm going to show you down here where we have silver being exchanged for sodium in the first example, where we just have a single displacement. And that can also be seen in the colors of the first one. And it's also my example with the A, B's, and C's I gave you. But we also could have a double displacement here, where we are switching 2 things going around. So exchange reactions are also fairly common. So between these anabolic reactions and these catabolic reactions, that's kind of the sum of everything that's going on in our body, and that's known as metabolism. And these things are providing our body with the energy. So for instance, if we start with carbs, lipids, and proteins, carbohydrates being made out of sugars, lipids being made out of fatty acids, and proteins being made out of amino acids, if we use catabolism with those, we can end up with some low energy end products and generate some ATP from breaking those bonds. Now, if we would start with the precursors of those macromolecules, the amino acids, the sugars, the fatty acids, or the nitrogenous bases, we would have to add in some ATP when we're doing our dehydration synthesis and our anabolic reactions in order to end up with our proteins, our carbs, our lipids, and our nucleic acids. Okay? So dehydration synthesis requires energy, and hydrolysis releases energy. All right, one type of chemical reaction is a term you probably learned in chemistry. Let's make sure you understand it once again, and that is known as a redox reaction, which is an abbreviation for oxidation reduction reaction, where the two always occur together. And what this means is we're going to be moving chemicals. So all oxidation means is some molecules, in this example, A, is going to lose an electron. It becomes oxidized. So it loses an electron, so it becomes more positive. That has to be coupled with a reduction reaction. In this case, that would be molecule B, which is going to gain an electron and become more negatively, thus being reduced in charge, thereby being called a reduction reaction. So every time we have an oxidative reaction, we have to have a reduction reaction, because these redox, they're twins, they travel together. And we have lots of examples of these happening in our cell when we're talking about glycolysis, when we're talking about the whole cellular respiration, which we'll go into detail later on. We're going to have oxidative reactions as well as reductive reactions. Also, when we're looking at some of our electron carriers, our NAD picks up electrons, become NADH, and we're also going to have FADH, FADH2 in a similar sort of circumstance happening. Another type of way of looking at chemical reactions is to call them exergonic versus endergomic. And remember our prefix is exo meaning outside as an exit sign, and endo meaning as in inside or within something. In an exergonic reaction, when we look at the reactants and we look at the energy of the reactants and compare it to the energy of the products, what we're going to notice in an exergonic reaction is that the reactants have a higher energy level than the product does. And so what that means is when the reaction happens, we are going to have this amount of energy outputs, okay? So the energy is stored in bonds. We're going to break these bonds and we are going to be releasing this energy. And so examples of these are ones where we're taking a bigger molecule and breaking it down. We're decomposing it into smaller things that releases energy. And so then the opposite is going to be true for endergonic reaction, where the reactants have a much lower level of energy than the products do, because in order for this reaction to happen, we have to add a significant amount of energy. And so these are our synthesis reactions, our dehydration synthesis, where we're taking monomers and making dimers or making polymers. Something else to talk about is ATP cycling. And so basically in our bodies, we can store very small amounts of ATP. And so what is happening is we have this continuous formation of breakdown of ATP. And basically ATP is just this molecule that is formed as an intermediary. And this is what the entire cycle looks like. So if we start here on the left side, this is the ATP formation. So we're starting down here at the bottom, where we're starting with ADP, and then we're going to add an inorganic phosphate, and we have to add energy in there. And that energy is going to be supplied from cellular respiration or something else. And then we would be able to make ATP. If we look at the right side, this would be ATP breakdown, and this is exergonic reaction. We're going to start with ATP. We're going to break this high energy bond right there to release the energy that was stored along with the inorganic phosphate. And then we have the energy available for use, and we're going to end up with an ADP molecule. And so this cycle will just keep on going around and around and around, taking energy from one place and releasing it someplace else. When we look at reactions, some of them are reversible and some are not reversible. So the question is, how can you tell? Well, in an irreversible reaction, what happens is the reactants, whether it's a synthesis or whether it's a decomposition, the arrow only points going to the right, okay, which tells you it's only going in this direction. Whereas in a reversible reaction, the reactants will become a product, but then the product becomes reactants and breaks down to a product which was the same as the original reactant. And so basically this is in a state of, it could be in a state of equilibrium, and we have to show arrows both ways. So you're typing it out as a computer, you can put a double thing arrow like that. If you're writing it out by hand, you would write something that looks like this for the arrow. And that means a two-directional arrow, so that everybody is aware that this reaction goes in both directions. And this is a really important type of reaction. Like for instance, we have something that has carbonic acid as the intermediary, and we have two reversible reactions on each side of carbonic acid, and this is how we maintain our blood pH in our lungs and our kidneys do the work of the two reactions. So how fast do reactions occur? This is called the reaction rate, and it's expressed either by looking at the product or by looking at the reagents, okay? And it's over time. And so both of these, we look at the concentration of whatever it is and what happens to it over time. So if we are looking at the product here in red, then we're going to look how much is formed, how much new product do we have over a period of time. Whereas if we are looking at the reactants or the reagents, we're looking at how much are we using up over each period of time. And you have to realize that one of the major influences to reaction rates is when we are taking bonds and trying to break those bonds. That is the slow point in the whole thing, because until we can break those bonds, we can't form any new bonds with those substances. So that gives us something called the activation energy. If we have reactants and we have products, and in this case where the reactants have a higher energy than the products, but we still are not high enough. We have what's called an activation energy, which is the minimum amount of energy that the reactants have to get up to in order for this reaction to occur. If the reactants can't reach that level of energy, then the forward reaction won't happen, because that's how much energy we have to put into the system to break those bonds. So here's what I'd like you to do. I'd like you to stop the video and kind of do things on this sheet. What are the three major ways that chemical reactions are classified? What are the three methods of changes in chemical structure? How do they differ? What are the two types of chemical energy? How are they different? And what do we talk about net direction of reactions, and two types of that? So thank you for all your hard work. That is it for this section, and I will see you when we come back to do our third and final section in our cell molecular biology, part 1. Thank you.